anytime we are wanting to influence or manipulate, what we're doing is, in some sense, taking away someone's free will. And I think it's a really important opportunity to talk about what is the difference between that and its intention. Influencing people is still manipulation. It's just with a more positive intention, right? I remember one time I was arguing with my ex-husband about how I was raising my daughter, and he says, "You're trying to brainwash her." And I was like, duh, that's exactly what the fuck parenting is. It is me trying to learn the best that I can, trying to heal the best that I can, and impart that knowledge on someone else as this is the path, this is the light, this is the way. That is a lot of what parenting is. I talk to you guys about that when I pull you into program. I say, I am here to brainwash you. The intentions is to brainwash you into believing that you are as absolutely fucking great and awesome as I think you are. It is all some form of manipulation. And I think when we want to influence people for the good, but it feels murky and it feels icky and it feels like I'm doing something wrong, it's because there's some part of us that believes that we have a negative intent, that we are taking away someone else's free will, that we are benefiting from someone's lack of knowledge, someone's lack of understanding. And I think that really comes up a lot in business, because you're like, I want to be paid well for what I do, but I'm feeling uncomfortable about taking money from people, right? Because it feels like sales feels like manipulation. Sales feels like, smoke and mirror. So I'm going to charge less because it doesn't take as much from me to make this painting, to coach this woman, to do this thing. But actually, you're doing yourself and them a disservice. There's a very fine line between influence and manipulation, and that fine line is intention. So for you to figure that out before you start wanting to influence or manipulate, I am not judging either one, is to ask myself, why am I doing this? In the early days of coaching, I wanted to, and I still do, wanted to be the best confidence coach that there was. And because I had such a strong intention to find women who were where I was when I was in an abusive marriage, when I was in foster care, when I didn't have a level of confidence and self-worth that I do now, and to get you all to transform yourselves to feel more like I felt now. It came from a place of wanting to empower others. It came from a place of positive intentions. But because I had some insecurity in me that I wasn't fully healed or I wasn't fully capable, what I did was become more controlling towards the women that I was serving. And what that looked like was, if you came to me and you told me your problems, I'm like, this is what you need to do, and this is how it has to be done. And if you're not doing it the way that I'm telling you to do it, you don't want to be here. And what I created was, at that time, more of a dependency on me, because I was solving your problems. Boom. Every time you came to me, I'm solving your problems. I'm telling you what to do. And if you follow my advice to the T, you are going to get yourself out of it. But the problem is, I am not then making women who can stand on their own 2 feet, women who are influential, women who trust themselves. They only then trusted me. And that's the difference between a good leader and, quite frankly, a cult leader. And I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I did know that my clients were still being way too dependent on me. After program was over, y'all was still, not y'all, but the women at the time were still flooding my line. We're still in program. We're calling, and just what they weren't having that independence that I desired. So that I desired for them. So I called someone in to audit me as a coach. And as she went and watched all of my coaching calls and did that, she came and she asked me, what is your goal for these women? Is it for you to be their fearless leader who thinks for them all the time? Or is it for them to trust in themselves and for them to become who it is that they are capable of being? Do you want them to be you and dependent on you, or do you want them to be them? And you think that that's a really easy question to answer, but actually it wasn't. I was like, I do have a strong desire, wants and needs for belonging. And one of the ways to ensure belonging is for people to depend on you. You belong if you are the head of their life. But ultimately, my goal in life is to create a world full of women who have autonomy, who believe in themselves, who can change the world, and who then can become whole and inspire me to do better and be better. I can't touch and I can't help or support the entire world. So the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is to help you discover yourself more, help you figure out yourself more. And that's wholly why the whole homework and homework review came in. And if you guys notice, I tell you inspiring stories. I give you definitions. I make connections. I help you figure it out. But I don't tell y'all what to do. I help you see the difference between what you say that you want to do and what you're actually doing. But I don't prescribe behavior anymore. Because initially I thought I wanted to influence, but that was control. And now, from a healthier standpoint, I look at coaching from actually influencing you so that when you finish this program, you are able to go on and be great on your own. That ended up being way more than I initially thought that I was going to say. I thought I was going to tell you all of that story in like 5 sentences, but I think it's really important, especially as we are wrapping up program, for you to understand and know intentions and growth and what that means. So it's asking ourselves that why question. Why do you want to influence them? What do you gain from it? There's no such thing as altruism. Ain't none of you bitches Jesus. So it's being honest about what it is that you get with yourself, and then being honest about what it is that you're getting from the people that you're serving. No judgment to whatever side that comes from, but we do owe it to ourselves and others to be honest with that. You carry the buckets, you douse the fire, you show them where the well is so that they can then go and help more. You have beautiful intentions, and the world is a better place from the hells that you've been through. Yeah. And I think one of the bigger differences between influence and manipulation is how we wait for them. We wait for them. Manipulation is, I'm going to contort this story. I'm going to contort this viewpoint. I'm going to stage a scene so that you think that the time to act is now. Whereas influence is, I know how this ends. You call me when it's more painful to stay where you are than it is to keep going. I'll be here waiting. And that is the hardest part as someone who wants to end suffering for others, is to wait for someone to actually say, I want to be out of hell. And there's this little quote that I like, and it says, bees don't waste their time trying to convince flies that honey tastes better than shit. So now that you become a bee and you know what's beautiful and what tastes good and what feels light, you just operate in that strength of self. And you become illuminated, and you write your story, and you tell your story, and you learn, and you grow, and you allow people who are ready to magnify and to not magnify, but to magnetize themselves onto you. And that's the beauty of writing a book and telling your story. You don't have to be on the street corner being like, I see you with that man. I know that look in your eyes. He's treating you like shit. Read my book. And when we do that, then we actually become the villain, because we are snatching people into realms that they're not ready for, that, you know, are not sustainable. And you do that in every profession. I remember I used to be a professional makeup artist. And once I learned how to do makeup, especially when I was fresh in it, I would see a girl with bad eyebrows and I'd be like, I got to tell her something. I got to tell her something. Like, she's just walking around with these terrible ass eyebrows. I got to say something, right? But then I realized she's not ready. She didn't ask me for it. And actually, to tell her eyebrows look bad and I want to help her and here's this technique, I'm the bad guy because I'm fucking with her self-esteem and I'm pointing out flaws and problems that she didn't even ask for. So what do you do instead? You just do a great job with your makeup and you be open and receptive. And when someone says your eyebrows look good, you say, word, girl, all it is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it's the same thing with your joy. You see people suffering and you want to influence them to come up out of their suffering because you know how sweet joy tastes. But if you are snatching people out of things, man, that job's not good for you. Man, that relationship's not good for you. Man, that friend ain't your friend. If you're spending time telling people what's wrong with their lives, you actually become just something that's focused on that. And so instead, you hold healthy boundaries with your friendships. You get a job that is fulfilling and you live in your joy. You live in your heaven and you keep an open door policy. That is influence. That is what we're here to do as world changers. I refuse to be in hell for anyone or anything, but I will stay in heaven and keep telling y'all the water is sweet up here. It's a lot less hot. Bitch, I'm comfortable. I can't come down to your version of hell to meet you, but when you've had enough, I can keep on yelling out to you that there is a seat ready for you to come and join. Whenever you desire, but only when you want to. I say it again, you're doing good work and you are influential. You are making such good use of that treacherous story that for one way or another you signed up for, to give you the strength to be to this place to help women who are not yet as strong as you transition from their version of hell to a better place. I'm honored. I'm not here to make problems when there aren't any, you know? I don't feel like I have to be like, here's your problem so I can feel like I earned my dollar. I think I have seen a tremendous release in the ways that we are allowing people to utilize you in ways that you're uncomfortable with. We live in a society that says, don't let people use you. That is absolutely not true. We want to be used. We want to be of help. We want to be of service. We don't want to be misused. And I think manipulation is people utilizing your weaknesses or not being transparent about what their desired end goal is to use you beyond the capacity at which you are desiring to be used. I want to be used. I don't want to be misused. I don't want to be mishandled. So the difference is I want to support a friend who's throwing a party. And so I say, girl, tell me what you need. I'll be there. Right? And for you to show up and to help out, that is being used in a way that makes you feel good, that makes you contribute, that makes you feel like you contributed. It's when at the end of the day, you know, and they know that you would prefer a little accolade, a little recognition. You would like for them to show up in support of you too. Manipulation is them utilizing you for more than you've signed up for, or them utilizing tactics to get you to do more than what you initially agreed to the point of your own detriment. And now that there's been an increasing amount of self-worth, there's less fear surrounding, what if I say no to this person? What if I don't want to do it? What if I say I want to go home? What if I don't, show up? And now I'm okay with letting people down. I'm not okay with letting myself down. And because when we talk about manipulation, which is in a lot of ways us energetically finding people to affirm the negative self-beliefs we have about ourselves, I think what you're noticing is as your self-worth has increased, the people manipulating you has decreased. Because those people were only doing shit that subconsciously or consciously we gave them permission to do in the first place. So it's beautiful that you're like, I can't find examples of that. And that totally tracks with the last conversation we had about, I feel good. And I say all the time, people are always going to be trying to fucking play in your face. People are always going to be trying to use you and misuse you. The difference between somebody doing you fucking dirty and not is you stop that shit dead in its tracks early on. When you know someone is eyeing your shit or making you feel uncomfortable, and so you separate yourself from them at the first, hand of it, you don't realize how much you've saved yourself from in the future. So then you're like, people know who to play with. People absolutely don't fucking know who to play with. They just didn't get away with it at a level 1 with you. So you're no longer experiencing betrayal, deceit, manipulation at a level 10 because you're stopping it in its tracks early on, which is saving us so much pain. I think about, I was reading a study. It was so random, but y'all know I love reading a study about how women are uncomfortable telling service providers when they don't like the service they got. And that included nails, food, hair salons. How many times, even tattoos, you get your nails done and you're looking at it and you're like, I don't like it. So then you manipulate yourself and you say, it just needs to grow on me. And then 3 days later, you're like, fuck, I wasted my money. And it's even worse when it comes to hair, right? You get your hair done and, I just asked for a bump and then she did a full flip. And you're in the car and you're like playing with it. And then you're trying to get outside validation. You FaceTiming people and ain't nobody telling you it's cute. And now you have all of this inner turmoil and pain because you didn't stand up for yourself, right? But could that have been saved if you went and just got a little uncomfortable and made that person maybe a little uncomfortable and say, hey, I don't really like this color. I don't like this design. Can you take it off and do it again? You feel like the villain. You feel like you've denied someone this thing that you don't want to be denied, which is acceptance and accolade. And so now you have weeks of pain and frustration and trauma that you could have solved by just fucking speaking up and not manipulating yourself into saying, I like this, until you cross that threshold and you're like, I don't fucking like it. This haircut, and now all of that sort of thing. And so what we're learning is, again, the more you hold your boundaries, the more you understand what you like and what you don't like, and the better you begin to be at communicating these things, the less likely you are to take the path of disenchantment because you stopped it. Ooh, hey, I think you did good, and I thought this was the color I asked for, but it does not look good on my skin. I'm sorry. Can you change it? And now you're not spending 2 weeks in a negative energy of I don't like this. And what happens when we're in the negative energy of I don't like this? We turned our brain, the reticular activating system, on to say, oh, I'm paying attention to shit that I don't like. Brain, universe, just show me everything I don't like. Fuck it. And now you're in, I know it sounds dramatic, but this is so true. And now you're in a bad mood for 2 weeks because of your nails, because every time you look at them, you're reminded to turn on the part of your brain to go through the files and say, show me everything that I don't like. But when we know ourselves and when we know that we're coming from a place of wholeness and we don't have this strong desire for acceptance and people pleasing, we can do the smallest things like tell somebody, I don't like this hairstyle. I don't like these nails. Hey, you did the little outline for the tattoo. That's not what I envisioned. Those little things fucking change our lives, y'all.
A deep, deep thank you goes out to you, BaeFriend, for tuning into the Shift Show. I'm Britteny Floyd-Mayo, founder of Trap Yoga Bae, your positive psychology advocate, and master confidence coach. I'm so glad that you joined me on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. My goal with Shift Show is to bring you real, raw, and unfiltered clips from live coaching sessions that can inspire you to live your best life and get your shit together. I'm so glad you joined me on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Trap Yoga Bae to find out how you can be in the room live, as well as catch behind-the-scenes content and daily inspiration. You can listen to Shift Show everywhere you listen to audio. You name it, bitch, I'm there. Thanks for being a part of my BaeFriend community. Stay fabulous, keep shining, and remember, you can get your shift together so you can keep your shit together. Until next time, BaeFriends. Mwah.